people. Now I'm in Hollywood now. I'm looking for this. Let me look for there. There are so many stars I'm looking for.
Hasta la vista, baby. I feel good. I knew that I would know. Stay on the scene. I want to count it off one more time. You want to hear lucky get on the count, fellas? Okay, fine. Get lucky get on the top. Get on up. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get on up. Get on up. Get on up. Stay on the scene. Get on up. Like a rubber machine. Get on up. Get up.
I don't think you know this. I don't want to go in. Yeah, you can't touch or climb on the couch.
Yes? Every bottle of champagne sent to the room at once. And make sure that we are not disturbed for any reason.
Hey, wait a second. That isn't really a homestead. This is a set that we built on one of the sound stages down in our front lot.
Hi everybody, I'm Carson Daly from NBC's The Voice, and I welcome you to the Universal Front Lot. Our show is filmed on stage 12. It happens to be the largest sound stage on the Universal lot. Take a look.
Soundstage 12 is directly in front of you. It's going to be on your left-hand side when we get to the bottom of the hill and turn the corner. Now, as Carson Daly said, Soundstage 12 is the largest soundstage on our lot. There it is. The Voice has been in there for all 6 seasons so far, and they are gearing up for the 7th. They even have their logo painted on the side. You can see it kind of over your shoulders. We really get to the bottom of the hill there. But Stage 12 is a lot older than The Voice. That's actually where Hollywood's built some of its most iconic filming locations. Places like Frankenstein's Lab, Dracula's Castle, Scarface's Mansion, and the Visitor Center from Jurassic Park. We built all of those sets inside the same building, not at the same time. That would have been tricky. Now this is what a soundstage looks like when there's nothing going on inside there. They're just big empty concrete boxes. We go inside and we build whatever our production requires. Soundstage 25 over here on your left is currently the home of a little TV series you might have heard of. It's called CSI, Crime Scene Investigation. CSI takes place in Las Vegas, but they do less than 10% of their filming there. The rest of the time they're here in Southern California. They're usually in stages 25, 24, 23, and 22 right here on our lot. In fact, most of the production that you'll see on our lot on any given day is going to be television production. We've got lots of movies that film here too, but a movie only needs a set one time. They film for a few days or a few weeks, and then when they're finished, they pack up and they're gone forever. A television show, on the other hand, they might use the same set for years and years, and so they like a nice cozy home that they know they can come back to. And that's why we get so many television shows on our studio lot. Stage 27 over on your left-hand side is the home of the Mindy Project, starring Mindy Kaling and Adam Pally. Stage 29 over on your right is used for About a Boy, starring Benjamin Stockham and Dave Walton. And there's another reason that we have so much television production on our lot. It's pretty logical when you think about it. See, Universal Studios Hollywood is part of NBC Universal. And NBC Universal is a huge corporation with lots of networks under its umbrella. NBC is the big one, but we've got E!, Sci-Fi, USA, Bravo, Telemundo, the Golf Channel, CNBC, MSNBC, the Weather Channel, the Oxygen Network, the Esquire Network, and NBC Sports, just to name a few. So that's a lot of networks. That's a lot of television. A couple new series coming out in, actually one of them's premiering tonight. The USA series Dig will be airing tonight, so I hope you set your DVRs for that. Next week, E! will take you behind the gates with The Royal, starring Elizabeth Hurley. The sound stages we're passing on the right-hand side were used up until recently for the television show Parenthood. Parenthood aired its final episode a couple months ago, but you can still see all 6 seasons on NBC.com or on Hulu Plus. I really like Parenthood a lot. But before we can do any filming, before we can even turn on our lights or our cameras, we want to know exactly what we're doing. We have to have a good plan. And to make that plan, we talk to the folks that work over here in these bungalows. These are production offices for writers, producers, and directors that currently have development deals with our studio. So this is all the creative talent working behind the camera. These folks come up with all the stories. They write them down. They think about the best way to take those stories from the page to the screen for our audience. That's you. And they all work over here. There are some very important names on some of these parking spaces. I always like to give a particular shout out to one of the last bungalows that we passed. It's bungalow number 5195, and it stands out. It's still up ahead of us, but it's going to stand out because it has that Hannibal banner across the top. Bungalow 5195 is currently used by the De Laurentiis Company, and of course they're the folks that make Hannibal. That's why they got their banner out there. They do an amazing job. And that office used to belong to a gentleman named Alfred Hitchcock, the master of the psychological thriller, who worked out of Bungalow 5195 in the 60s and 70s when he was creating his television series, Alfred Hitchcock Presents. But now we're finishing up with the front lot. We're getting ready to head into the back lot. And the back lot is what you guys really came out here to see. The back lot is where we shoot exterior scenes on a very large scale. This is stuff that's too big to fit inside a soundstage. And we're going to kick things off in our metropolitan area, or our metro sets for short. We call this the metropolitan area because these are city streets. We got that city skyline on your right-hand side. You shouldn't recognize that skyline. It's not for any city in particular, just a generic city background. Because when we get into our real metropolitan sets, we can dress these sets up to look like any city we want. They've been on screen as New York, Chicago, Boston, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., London, Paris, Berlin, even Los Angeles. Brownstone Street, over on your right-hand side, played the role of Buffalo, New York in Bruce Almighty.
Raise the dog!
So there's Jim Carrey coming out of our center doorway there.
Outside good. Inside bad. Outside good.
Oh, you're done now. Great. B-E-A-U.
Brownstone Street has also been seen on How I Met Your Mother, Key and Peele, and in the Ben Affleck movie Gone Girl. But this courtyard might be even more familiar to you. We call it Courthouse Square. You might know it as Hill Valley from Back to the Future. The City Hall building on your left once appeared as the Hill Valley Clock Tower in Back to the Future 1 and 2. It looks a little bit different today because for 8 years, this courtyard was one of the main sets used on the television series Ghost Whisperer. And the people that made Ghost Whisperer did not want you to watch their show and think about Back to the Future, or any of the other hundreds of projects that have filmed here over the years. So every project has a person called the production designer, and it's that person's job to make sure that the sets look exactly right for what they're doing, and that usually means making them look different. The production designer will come out here and they will change the colors of the buildings. They'll change the materials the buildings appear to be made out of. They'll change the signs in all the windows to make it look like we're in a different city, a different country, or even a different time period. So hopefully you don't realize that you've seen these sets many times before. Now when we want to go to the big city, we turn the corner, we come to New York Street. We call this New York Street because it has appeared as New York more often than any other city. And Jimmy Fallon knows New York better than I do, so here he is.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there by an old woman, tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here. Hey, it's cool guys. I was just walking. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
And so that gives you an idea of how we can really bring these sets to life by using proper signage and prop materials and of course live background actors. But some directors take it even farther. They'll finish filming on a live set, whether it's out here on the backlot or inside a soundstage, and then they'll go to the digital department and they'll use computers to enhance the environment even further. They can make the buildings look taller, they can add to the background to make the city look larger. They'll put in special effects like giant robots or alien attacks. You know the type of stuff I'm talking about. One director who is a master at combining these real-life sets with amazing digital imagery is a gentleman by the name of Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Star Island. It was great to have you along for the ride. Now we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
Oh, you can put the glasses on if you want to. We're just going to go through this dark, scary tunnel to let your eyes adjust, and then we'll be visiting the home of King Kong. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to Skull Island. 360 3D. Features an enormous 3D surround system. It was put together for us by Peter Jackson and his friends at the Meta Digital Workshop down in New Zealand. And they had to do a lot of work to bring that to life.
With Project Studio Tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know where people are looking. They're looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. And this tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
All right. So that's some pretty amazing stuff in there. We're going to shift gears for a couple minutes. Talk about cars now. Whenever you see a vehicle on screen, we call it a picture car.